So I'm gonna start off with my peach tree right here. I had some blossoms earlier last month, but oh, there we go. I don't know if you could see, but that's a little beanie baby peach that's coming along. I was about to say that I have not seen any peach coming from the blossoms, but it's coming. It's not a lot, but it's coming. Something is always better than nothing. I have my flower right there, my little pollinator right there. I have a container with yam. It's still cold, so the yam hasn't resprouted as yet. This bed, I am still wondering what to plant here. I had some mint. I planted some mint right here, but what is this? Some peppermint, but it's not doing so well. It's not doing so well. And I also have I sprinkle or broadcast some zinnias and the zinnias are coming along. I also have two loofah plants that I planted right there. I'm hoping that it could grow against the fence. These are my onions that I planted in containers, 1 gallon containers. I'm doing a little experiment to see how it grows in a 1 gallon container. I had them and I didn't know what to do with the 1 gallon container, so I tried to plant onions in there. And this that you see right here, that came from when I put down some fresh mulch, and after that, that one particular container had some fungus in there, and I just decided to leave it and see what happens. Oh, let's go here, and I have a banana plant that's coming along pretty good. I went to the town for a weekend, came back, and found that. This garden bed is also, I'm on the east side of my property, and the east side is not going so well right now because it's pretty shaded on the east side. In the summer, a lot of things grow, but not in the wintertime. In the wintertime, it's more on the north and the west side of the garden that produce stuff. This right here, I believe this is an Everglade tomato. As you can see, it has some little baby tomatoes coming. So I'm good with that. This is also a pigeon pea that I have, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. How I go about planting stuff in my garden currently is I plant things everywhere to see where things grows best. Because this is my first year at this house. So next year I should be able to better plan out my garden because by then I will know where everything grows best. I have some Malabar spinach right here grown in this container, and as you see, it's coming along. This is a Malabar spinach that's been here for a year. It died down and it's coming back now, seeing that it's spring. This one right here, this one is a new mulberry spinach that I planted in the winter time around Christmas. Let's take a look right here behind my greenhouse. I broadcast some zinnias and also some sunflower seeds back here. I'm just coming back here, passing by to see how that's going. I don't know if you can see it, but that's some sunflower and zinnia. I don't know which is which. Oh, I can tell you what this one is. This one is clearly a sunflower. That one is clearly a sunflower. I also have a little baby bitter melon, or what we call in Jamaica some Cersei. I have some Jamaican mint, papaya, some sugar cane, and again, as you can see, a mixture of zinnia and sunflower right by the sugar cane. I got a little baby pineapple that I had at my previous house before move, and this is about 2 years, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. It's sprouting. Now, since I've been here at this new house, what I did is I now plant all my pineapple except for that one in the ground. These been here for maybe around 9 months right here, and then I planted these two last month in February. I also have this Maya lemon that I planted in the winter that I had in a container for a year. It was about to die from root bound, so I just decided to give it a shot and plant it in the ground. It bloomed, but then all the blossom fell. So I'm hoping it will bloom again in a couple months. And right here, I plant these. These are watermelons. I planted these in February. I sow them in some seed growing containers in January, and then I planted them outside in February, and that's how they look right now. I also plant some in my raised bed right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right here. I'm thinking about using a trellis all four and raise up off the ground, because I remember last year I grew some, and sometimes it was a little bit hard to go through and unpollinated all the watermelon because it was on the ground and I would step on them. So I'm trying to be more efficient. So I've not completely decided what I'm gonna do as yet, but that's a thought that I have. I also have this fig tree that produces some fruit in November. It was pretty tasty. And let's go back to this bed right here. So in this bed is the metal grow bed close to my greenhouse right here. And that's on the northwest side of the property. So all these things that are going to flower are seeding. These are pak choi. And the reason why I'm letting them go to seed is because I want to collect the seeds for next year. And if you're new to the channel, I believe I mentioned it a few times. Most, if not all, things that I have in my garden are heirloom. And what heirloom means is these are things that are organic, or not, that were not tampered with by a scientist, and it produces seeds. It reproduces naturally, and you don't have to go after you harvest it or after you plant it. You don't have to go and get another plant from somewhere else. You don't have to go to the store to buy another plant. All you have to do is just let it stay, and eventually it will start to produce seeds. And got some nasturtiums, and then I also have some sugar snap pea. I'm thinking about cutting out the sugar snap peas because, as you can see, the heat that we've been having in February has been burning them up. So I believe now it's time to plant some different vegetables, some summer vegetables in this raised bed right here. I don't know if you can see as well, but I have some kale. I also have some onions, and this right here is some oregano. Let's go across to the sister raised bed. In this raised bed, I have some kale, I had some, what's that? Kale. Got some basil. Got some turnips. And in the other half of the bed, I have an onion. Majority of this half of the bed is onions. I got some ghost peppers right there. Ghost pepper over here. And beefsteak, indeterminate tomato. And so I bought this one tomato from Home Depot around in November, I believe. I bought it in November, planted it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I planted this in November, and then what I did in around December, January, somewhere around there, I clipped them. I don't know if you can see that I clipped some of the stems, and I put it in pots. And this was the result of the clips. So from that one plant, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From that one plant that I bought from Home Depot, it turned into 8 different tomato plants. And all of them are producing stuff right now. Let's go back over here next to the greenhouse. This is my longevity spinach. It grows well in the summer heat when all other spinach might die or the growth might be stunted. This one still grows and produces spinach for you. This right here is a collard green plant that I have for about a year now. I planted it last year this time, and it's still going. All you have to do is just make sure. All I did was take it and keep it outside of the hot Florida summer heat, and it's been thriving. So collard greens is somewhat heat resistant, mostly heat resistant and mostly cold resistant. It can't stand the extreme on either sides, so be mindful and aware of that. I have some passion fruit here that I will be planted next to the passion fruit tree or vine that you saw in the beginning of the video. I'll be planting that in the next 2 months after it's completely warmed up. Because right now it's pretty cold right now, so I'm not trying to transplant that and let it die. I have some Toro right here that I had in this container for about I'd say 2 years. And the reason why I had it in the container for 2 years, I have it in the container for 2 years, is I wanted it to spread and produce more Toro. And I bought this Toro from a grocery store. So in a couple months, let me not say a couple months, in a few days I will be unpotting this and repotting it into different containers, and then I'm hoping that I'm able to reap Toro next year to harvest and eat and produce food for my family. In this container right here, the small container, I have a few Malabar spinach, and I will be transplanting these into different pots in different areas of my garden so that I'll be able to have some spinach for the summer. This right here, let's take a look. You might want to cover your nose. That's what that is. I'm currently in the middle of making some tea for my garden. Some good organic tea for my garden. This is my blueberry bush that I have in a 2-gallon container. And as you see, it's producing fruit. Right here, I have some white potato. We in Jamaica we call it Irish potato. I will be putting some more soil in there today to make sure that I have an abundance of white potato. And let's take a look at the entire garden in its entirety. These are the tomatoes that I mentioned earlier that came from that butter plant that I bought from Home Depot. If you take a look, you can see that it is producing. In this bed right here, again, I have some pak choy that went to flower, I went to seed, but underneath all that mulch right there, or sawdust, is ginger. And again, it's a little bit cold, warmed up, and I planted the ginger, so it's a little bit dormant now, seeing that it's cold. But as soon as it started to warm up a little bit, the ginger should grow. So right now it's just establishing roots. This bed right here, this bed I made for $0. Where at work they had some container that came, some equipment that came to the office, and it was packaged in wood. So what I did was I took all the wood and I decided to make a raised bed, and it turned out pretty well. I still have some of that wood left over, so I might do a little video showing you how I went about making this bed. So in this bed, I have some kale, I have some onions, and I don't know if you could tell what this is. Oh, look at this little thing right here. Look at that. that is stink. That is stink bug. Not my friend. That is a little stink bug right there. And I will say it's good to walk around in your garden in the early morning, because you get to see the little bugs that comes up and eat your plants and vegetables, and you're able to take it off before it totally demolish your vegetables in your garden. So as I was saying, this right here is a beet. It's a beet plant, a beetroot that I did not take up. So this one is going to seed, and that way I could get some seeds for next year. I always try to leave something, at least one or two plants, back in the garden so that it will go to seed, so that I don't have to buy seeds every year. Some plants, if you buy heirloom, you should be able to just buy seeds once and reap every year consistently from that plant. And it's also best to reuse the seeds the plant that you let go to seeds in your garden, because now over time your garden become, not your garden, the plant become acclimated to that environment, to that climate that you grow in, and over time that plant won't be successful. So it won't be so fragile where it's okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. If you use heirloom and you reuse the seeds, over time, that plant will be, over time that plant won't be prone to some disease that would normally affect that plant. It won't be prone to certain disease that would not normally affect that plant. So it's always best to let some plants go to seeds and reuse it year after year. And I don't know, well, if you listen to this channel, you're in somewhere in Florida. So I know that you know that the Florida heat is pretty harsh. So the more things are grown over here from a previous plant in your garden, the less likely to be damaged by the heat. It will become more heat tolerant. I'm not saying it will become 100% heat tolerant, but you'll be able to grow it a little bit longer in the growing season. So yeah, in this off of the bed, you got kale, nasturtium. I got beets right there that you saw growing. And then I have some habanero pepper. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. It's an habanero pepper that's producing some peppers. And some sunflower. Some sunflower. We get some beets and some other beets. Some collard greens. What's that? Some onions. In this half of the bed, I got some thyme, kale, collard greens, sunflower. We got some carrots. We got some squash plant right there that I planted. I'm into plant some of my summer vegetables right there. So that summer plant mixed in with my winter plants. So this is some zucchini. So zucchini. I said it was squash, but it's actually zucchini. And I don't know if you could see what this is. But this, I believe, is radish. Yes, this is radish. Let me clear the root for you. Yeah, that's some radish. And it's currently going to seed right here. This is one that's going to seed right here. That's a radish going to seed. So I will be collecting some radish seeds for next year. And then if I just swing around, this right here, what is this? This is some cucumber. Cucumber that I planted in a pot with some dill. And you see the chalice that this cucumber will be growing on. Last year I had planted some cucumber that I didn't get any cucumber from. I planted in the northeastern part of the garden, but it died from. I won't even say it died from pests. It had some pest problems, and I put some pest control that I got from Home Depot, and it completely killed all of my cucumber plants. So this year I'm doing my best to pick it up off the ground, do some companion planting with it to protect it from disease and pests. And I will definitely not be using that product anymore. I am trying to do my best to use natural pest control, natural home remedies that will not harm my plants, but will make my plant a lot more healthier. So I have cucumbers on both sides, just so that if one die, I have another one. Give me just a second right here. Oh, look at that. This is a little baby cucumber right here. That was fast. I'm just wrapping this one around here so I have something to hold on to. Look at that. Who would have guessed? So I planted this. Maybe 3 weeks ago. Planted this 3 weeks ago. And it came a long way. Came a very long way from where it was. Because I would have never guessed that it would have produced or start to produce any cucumber. I'm pretty excited. I also planted this cucumber with some dill, hoping that I'll get rid of any pests. I'm not seeing any pests. It's pretty cool out here. It's in the low 60s. So I doubt that there'll be any pests right now. But it never hurt to to look and inspect, make sure that there isn't any pest. So this is my eggplant bush or eggplant tree that has yet to produce any eggplant in the past 9 months. It has gone through, what's that, 3 seasons now. It's gone through 3 seasons now. It went through summer. I bought it in summer. Summer heat was too strong for it, so it somewhat died back. Went through fall, we went through winter, and now we're currently in spring. I am trying to see if it's going to produce any eggplant in spring. If it doesn't produce any eggplant in spring, come summer, I will get rid of it. And I just want to show you guys something. A couple weeks ago, I released some ladybugs in the garden, and look at that. I thought they all went away, but I find some every now and then when I walk around, so I'm pretty excited. It's not as much as I thought it would be, and the reason why I released the ladybugs in the garden is to eat all the bad bugs that is in the garden and the eggs that will be coming up now that spring is coming around. So that and I'm hoping that will allow me not to have as much pests as I would otherwise. Oh, look at this. I also have some other beets that is also going to seeds as well. I'm sorry, radish, some other radish that's going to seeds as well. I have a cabbage right here that feels pretty firm. I'm hoping that this cabbage I will be able to enjoy in a couple weeks. I've been watching it. I'm hoping that I could enjoy it in a couple weeks before any bugs come and demolish it. Last time I planted cabbage, I wasn't able to get any because worms just went ahead and eat all my cabbage. It was like a Swiss cheese last time, so I'm hoping, have my finger crossed, I'm praying. Look at this beauty right here. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. The sun is in the way. So let me just reposition myself. There was a bird. I tried to reposition to not allow the glare of the sun to obstruct the view, but as soon as I got around into a better spot, the bird flew away. So I have right here, I have my yucca or cassava plant. I will be harvesting this pretty soon because I need to replant it. I need to replant for this year, so I will be harvesting this pretty soon. And right here, I have next to my cassava plant, in the northern part of my garden, I have my sweet potato patch that I planted. I planted this in December. I will be mulching it a little bit more. It's starting to fill in. Also plant some Mammoth. This is a dwarf Mammoth sunflower. I also planted some sunflower and some collard greens here in the garden by the sweet potato. And they're coming along pretty good. I've gotten quite a few harvests that I had to give away. I don't know if you can see it, but this leaf is I will say it's I would have liked to say it's as big as my head, but this is like twice the size of my head. That is crazy. Look at that. This thing is humongous. Some sugar cane. I gotten some papaya. Let me just step back. Okay. Right here, I have right below my papaya, I have my sunflower bed that borders the property. These I planted in late December, early January, somewhere around there. And right here in this part of the sunflower bed, it's a mixture of sunflower, calendula, and zinnia. I got my custard apple plant right here. It's still cold, so the leaves hasn't come back as yet. It's being sheltered also by this pigeon pea that I need to come and harvest. And this right here, this beauty right here is a sugar apple. This is a sugar apple. It's a 2-year sugar apple that I had. I had it in a pot for a year, and then I planted it in the ground because again, it was getting root. This was also another plant that was getting root bound. So in order to save it, I put it in the ground. When did I put it in the ground? I'll say December, late December I put it in the ground to save it. I also mulch it as well. I just didn't put it in the ground by itself, I mulch it. So the mulch kind of act as a heat blanket to prevent the root from getting frozen. Get some more papaya. I have a avocado tree right here, and that bird is playing hide and seek with me. As soon as I go to get a good look at it, it flies away. But as soon as I mind my business, it comes back and flying everywhere. But I'm not gonna run it away. I'm not trying to run it away. That's a good friend to have in your garden, the birds, because they tend to eat all the bugs. And when there's no bugs, you tend to have a wonderful garden. At least when there's no bad bugs, because there's good bugs and bad bugs. And you want the birds to get rid of the bad bugs. And birds tend to be good pest control. And that's one of the reasons why I have this sunflower bed right here. Because it's not just the sunflower not just attract bees and pollinators, but it also attract birds. Birds love flowers, just as bees do. And that way I won't have to use any harmful chemicals in my garden to prevent my plants from becoming food for those bad insects like aphids. Right here, let's see what this is. This is a Super Julie. This produced and start to bloom in January, somewhere around there. And I don't know if you know, but it snowed in Florida this year, so we had some abnormally cold winters this year. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get any mangoes from it. I'm hoping and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll get at least one mango from it. But they do say that you should not, when the mango tree is this small, you should not let it fruit. But I can't help myself. I've been babying this plant and caring for this plant, so I need to reap something from it, even if it's just one mango. Got a little baby zinnia right there. I got some okra there that's coming up. Got my banana tree, another banana tree right here. And these banana trees right here, these 1, 2, 3. I'm curious to see how they turn out. If they're gonna die back come summer, or they're gonna grow even stronger. So I know I mentioned this before, but these banana trees died back like 50 times last year and come back. While I did mulch them somewhat, I mulched them with grass from the yard last year. This year, this time around, they have wood chip mulch. The grass mulch in the summer breaks down very fast. So I'm curious to see. Well, mulch in general breaks down very fast in the summer. Takes a little bit more time in the wintertime, but in summer breaks down like nothing. But this time around it's a different type of mulch. So I'm curious to see if it's gonna break down how fast it's gonna break down, and how these banana trees, how it's gonna affect them. So I will be keeping an eye on those. And look at my sunflower. They're coming along pretty good. They're Mammoth sunflower. I plant these sunflowers different distance apart as you move from one end of the garden to the next. The first part that you saw earlier was very dense, very thick. And then right here is a little bit less dense as you move, because it's from the northern west side. It goes all the way to the southern front side, southwest side of my house. So from the northwest to the southwest. The northwest is a thicker sown side, and the southwest side is the more spread out side, where it's not as thick as the others. So I did that to see how well they're gonna grow, because I know sometimes, because plants tend to prefer to be by themselves. If you grow them in a dense area with other plants, it stunts the growth. So I'm gonna see which one grows taller, because Mammoth sunflowers tend to grow a little bit taller than others. So I'm excited to see how that turns out, and based on the results that I get, I will plant next year accordingly. This right here is a star fruit. In the wintertime, it looks like a piece of stick, but it's coming back now. It has some leaves. I haven't seen any blossom so far. This is also a tropical fruit, so even though I was hoping to see some blossoms, I know that there won't be any blossoms until it warms up. But unlike the star fruit, I should say, not sun fruit, my bad. I have a guava plant that's been producing fruit since the day that I planted it, and it has not stopped producing any fruit. It has a few big fruit, but then there's a few buds in there that's coming in. It'll be flowering in a few months, a few weeks. I have a mango tree that I don't know what mango it is. I'm curious. I will be using that as a experiment. I will be using that as an experimental mango tree to do all my grafting and stuff. And this is somewhat of the northern. I'm sorry. This is somewhat of the southern west side where you see that the sunflower is a little bit more spacious, and with that space comes weeds because I plant sunflowers so far apart. There's a lot of weeds in between. See the distance. There's some zinnias right there. Zinnias, sunflower. I got a little baby pigeon pea. One sunflower. And I need to make the front of my yard look a little bit more presentable for my neighbors, so that the city doesn't say anything about me gardening in my yard or find me. So, well, I'm trying to figure out if I should weed it, because I'm not trying to kill all my sunflower. So I'm curious to see how it's gonna interact with the weeds, if they're gonna die or if they're gonna shoot up. But if anyone say anything, I just might have to do I'm sorry. I have to do some weeding, because I can't come through there with a weed walker, because then it's just gonna kill everything. I have to do some unweeding and then see how that turns out. Right here, in the southern part, the southernmost part of the house, or the yard, I have my coconut tree. You see, I mulch it. It needs a little bit more mulch. I don't know if you could tell, but the mulch, while it's there, you step on it and it sinks. It just sinks. So this mulch is pretty much broken down. So I need to put some more mulch in there to keep the water in. Let's see how this one goes. Yeah, this one is solid. This one is the most recent mulch that I did. This tree right here is a cinnamon plant. And I'm very excited. I planted this tree in February. I'm pretty excited to watch this tree grow, so I could make some cinnamon powder. And across from the cinnamon, I have star apple. I don't know if you can see this right here, but that looks like a mud wasp. I have a East Indian right here. I'm sorry, this is not an East Indian. This is a Kerry mango, and this Kerry mango tried to produce something. Again, it's a small mango. I know it's not, I'm not supposed to do that, but I tried. It died. Somewhat disappointed, but I understand. It's a very small tree. It might have killed it if it had produced any mango. So I guess that's a good thing that the cold killed all the blossoms. Over here, this is the East Indian mango. And again, it tried to produce stuff. The winter came and killed it. So it wasn't able to produce anything. And I have my, I was told that I wasn't a true Jamaican because at the time when I was talking to that person, I did not plant any ackee tree. So to prove my Jamaicanness, I had to plant some ackee tree in the yard. So that's my ackee tree right there. So right here is my Mammoth sunflower. And this sunflower right here, it has a bee on there. Look at that. See, the bee is covered in pollen. Look at that. Look at the leaf. The leaf is also covered in pollen right there. As the bee moves around, the pollen is just falling off of the plant. So this sunflower is around 5.5 feet in height. That's a pretty tall sunflower. And the sunflower bed that I just showed you, that's how tall I want them to be. Because these are the same flower. Those are the same flower. This one was planted a little bit more earlier than those. So I'm curious to see how those turned out, if they become just as tall as these. Look at that. And you can see the distance. That's like 2 feet apart. So if those don't grow as well as these, next year I'll be planting those over there 2 feet apart. The only thing is, when you plant them 2 feet apart, the weeds get to grow. So I might have to plant some little flower in between to get rid of the weeds. It's something that I have to think about. And I also have, next to the sunflower, my pigeon pea. Behind the sunflower, right here, I have some spearmint. And the spearmint's been growing good. It looks like it's running because it's 2 feet away, 1 feet away from the original plant, the host plant. There's a little spearmint right here. And then I have some thyme, some herb, some thyme right here. So whenever we need thyme for the kitchen, we could just come on and harvest some and spice up our food. Again, pigeon pea, sunflower. I have sunflowers scattered all around my garden. Again, just because I want to have some birds, some bees flying around in the garden to keep the pests down. So that's why I have those. And then also, my wife loves flowers. Right here, I have my table grape. It's hidden by the sunflower, but I have some table grape right here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is from another pest control that I have to run away any critter. This is a muscadine grape. So I'll be running some muscadine grape and table grape on the same trellis. I got some collard greens. I know that they're looking a little bit scanty, but I've always a lot to the point where I had to give away collards and kale consistently for 2 weeks. So that's been 14 days. Every day I've been giving away a bag, one of those grocery bag, plastic grocery bags that you get from Walmart, full of either collard greens or kale every day. So it's a little small garden, but it's bountiful. And I would say, I'll tell anyone, it's a good reason to have a backyard garden, because once you plant things correctly, you will forever have fruits and vegetables for your family and for your friends. I have this lemongrass. I initially planted the lemongrass right here, and I dug it up and transplanted closer to the water spout. But I guess there was a root or something in the ground, and come winter, that sprouted up. Right here, I had some cocoa plant. Cocoa is where you get your chocolate from, your dark chocolate, your brown chocolate. That's where you get it from. I planted some in this bag right here, and then I had to separate them into individual pots so that they could grow a little bit better. And along with those, I have some sugar apple as well that I also grow in another bag, where I had to separate them over here. And as it's warming up, I'm gonna try to sell or give away some to my friends, and to grow some, because I love sugar apple. And I also really like